Well, hello there, YouTube. We're in the little town of Winlock. Got us a whole herd of motorcycles coming by. Bunch of touring-looking fellas with sport bikes, adventures, all kinds of stuff going on there. Oh man. So, let me tell you a little story about this thing. In a section of video the first day when I rode this thing home, there's about 45 minutes extra to that. I take the video, or the F3 home video that I'll be releasing tomorrow morning. But we got a whole slew of these things in at once, and it was the end of the pay period, and we're, you know, as technicians, you want to get that last little burst, and that was the end of the month. So they want to make their month look good. So the store, we try to get what we can done. We don't want to leave anything laying loose that could be, put on the books for that month. And anyway, we got a slew of these F3s together, so we're getting them all together. And obviously I wasn't gonna get them all together, so Zach, one of our other BRP techs there at the store, he was putting some together, and he put these two orange ones that we got in the bunch, and I was able to get the one and align it, and he had basically just had the top off the other one at the end of the day when I was leaving. Well, he works over the weekend, so I knew he'd finish it up. So I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna flag the time for laser aligning that one, if you wouldn't mind, just shoving it over. I got this little area where I laser align them. I said, if you would, just kick it over there, and I'll come in Monday morning and knock that out. So he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So when I left, the last thing I did was align the first orange one that he got together. And I left it sitting there. Well, the sales guys or somebody will always come grab them and pull them up front. So when I come in Monday and there's an orange one sitting there, I assume that was the one he finished up. So I get my old computer out, and I keep a record of every single alignment I do, and customers want them, or we need to reference back to it for whatever reason. Anyway, I'm just one of these record-keeping fools. I drive my wife nuts. But anyway, get the old laptop open. I've got templates. I built a spreadsheet for that does all the math and stuff for aligning these things. And that was a typical Harley way, wasn't it? But anyway, I go to put this one in, and what I do is I open up the template, put the last 8 of the VIN, and I save it first, so I don't save it as something weird, or actually it won't save as a template, but it's just my thing. I like to give something a name and save it, so I save it along with the VIN. So as soon as I do, donk, it says you want to replace existing file, and I go, oh, whoa, hold on here. So that orange one that was sitting there was the same one that I left there on Friday. So I go in search of the other orange one, and I couldn't find it. I thought, dear God. So I asked one of the sales guys, I said, you didn't sell one of the orange F3-S's over the weekend, did you? And he goes, no. They'd sold some, but it wasn't an orange one. But so anyway, I knew the thing was somewhere, and then they were putting handlebars and whatever on this thing, and I realized, oh, it's the owner's demo. I didn't know which one he's going to pick, but I found out he picked one of these. I knew it was his, and I thought it was going to get left there while a bunch of accessories and stuff got installed on it. But he ended up taking the thing home, and nobody said anything about it handling bad. The alignment out of the crate must have been close enough. Well, when I rode it home the other night, that's why there's a whole bunch of that video missing. It was not aligned right. And as soon as I hit the freeway, when I go to get gas and I don't come back until, I'm literally on the other side of Kelso. I'm a long ways north of that gas station, because I decided not to reveal any of that stuff. But riding this thing home last night, after I did, I got a little block of time. I had to do it for free because I already got paid for this thing at the end of March. And so, I mean, this is something I had to do with my own time, you know. So I had a little gap there, and I busted her out, and we're setting these things at, you know, about 3/4 of an inch toe in, and of course, you know, they need to be in perfect relation to the rear wheel. So, you know, you hook it all up and get everything pointing straight, and, you know, make sure the steering angle sensor agrees with the bike actually physically pointing straight, and you know, run the plates and get everything set up and see where she's at and if she's off. Anyway, it had way too little toe in, and it was all in the right front wheel. The left front wheel, absolutely perfect with the back wheel. The right front wheel was where all the adjustment was off. But I tell you what, when I left that gas station, I'd loop around, bounce down on the I-205, and the first thing you gotta do is merge into traffic. Well, what do you do when you merge? You know, you don't totally rely on your mirrors unless you're riding something like that Adventure that's got, you know, billboards for mirrors. I mean, you see everything. Look at the hee-haws. And anyway, I look back to change lanes, and I changed lanes. It's a good thing nothing was there, because she just went, phew! She went right into the freeway. I was in the lane I was heading to, but not in the manner I was meaning. I meant to look, then move. Well, I looked and darted. I didn't just move, I shot over. So I was like, oh crap. That's right, this thing didn't, God almighty, I got a bug already. I'm just gonna, well, we'll go up here in just a second. I'll find a place to stop. I'll clean it, then I'll come right back. But I don't want to stop in somebody's front yard here. But anyway, then, you know, I'm going, oh shit, that's right, this one didn't get aligned, you know. I'm like, wow, that's funny, nobody said anything about this thing. That had to have been horrible to ride. And so I, you know, it seemed, you know, it felt kind of light and twitchy and nervous going down the freeway, and I'm like, oh man, this is like bumming my ride out, and I'm madder than hell, you know, because I actually wanted to check the thing before I left, and at least it was in my mind anyway to check it, because it was the one that was off, and I'm thinking, well, nobody said anything weird about it. You know, if I don't have time, no big deal, I'll still ride it home. And man, I just did not expect it to be that twitchy and that far off. Here, I'm gonna stop here for a second, clean this. So I'm gonna bounce out and bounce right back. So be right back. Oh, that was so small. I don't know if you even seen that, but it was a gnat on there nonetheless. Got further out in the country here, and there's like way more bugs. But anyway, I was upset that I didn't pursue this thing, and I knew it was hanging around. I mean, the thing had been sitting there for days. We're still waiting for the exhaust to come in, and he's putting bags on it also, the saddle bags. And so anyway, I went on a little rant, upset with myself that I didn't roll that thing over there when I had a moment and checked, and you know, aligned the thing. So at speed, you know, you get close to triple digits, and this thing went flat out scary. I mean, downright scary. But in the whole scheme of things, you wouldn't think that thing being off would make that much of a difference, but that just sets home the importance of these things being aligned. I mean, to me, the difference between 3/4 inch toe in and 1/16 of an inch toe in, and it all being related to one wheel, is huge, and it felt very huge. So because I had the shield on and a headwind driving home last night, I'm probably not going to use any of that video, because it is, you literally barely hear a word I'm saying. I talked about this last night, but anyway, the difference in the way this thing handles, it is truly a sport bike. And when I went up through the in the twisties and stuff, you're constantly back and forth. You don't, alignment stuff doesn't reveal itself, that bad. It's at speed, down straightaways and gradual turns and lane changing and stuff like that. You notice it, and it does feel better in the twisties, but that's not where it really reveals how bad it is. So it was very, very fun taking that Polka Makers Road, which ended up getting kind of skewed by coming up behind that Yamaha V-Star with the couple riding it. But anyway, I was never gonna reveal that this one wasn't aligned, and then I was kind of pissed off in that part of the video. I said, that's stuff that nobody even really needs to know, that one slipped through the cracks. Well, technically it didn't, because I knew where it was. If it had gone to a customer, I'd have called them and arranged an appointment for them to, I'd do it while they wait, come in and I'll align it, because just way too many of them are off to just go, well, they're not complaining about it, so it must be okay. That is wrong. These people could be new to a Spyder and think being twitchy and nervous like that is just the way they are. And that's horrible, because these things are absolutely fantastic when they're aligned. You don't even think, the only time, and it's only initially when you're first learning to ride them, and it's not much of a learning curve, but if you've spent too much time on bikes, there's a little bit of getting used to, the lack of the gyroing two wheels that are following each other, It's so as you're learning that, it all feels kind of odd to you anyway. Let's have one that's out of alignment, That's a difference of a fun ride and a scary ride. That's why nothing leaves out of their newer used that hasn't been laser aligned. It's a huge difference. The ones I love the most are the people that are actually kind of, I'm not going to do it, I don't have any problems, I've been riding it for the past 12,000 miles, there's nothing wrong with mine, I'm just not going to mess with that. My tires aren't wearing funny, and I'm happy. I'm not going to pay you to do that. And then finally, they'll just all of a sudden, your appointment comes up. Oh, cool! They changed their mind. And I checked that thing, and it's off by a mile. And boy, most of them don't even bother making a phone call. They literally come back, find me in the store, and go, I just had to come back and tell you that after all these miles of riding this thing, I never knew that that's the way that thing was supposed to handle. The best way to describe what it's like when they're laser aligned compared to when they're not, that is beautiful. I don't know how well that comes out. Imagine having that property with your sheep and stuff out there. Mount St. Helens just sitting there plain as day right there in the background. This old guy's probably he's waving. What an attention getter this damn thing is. Hey, here's a Goldwing trike. Oh no, that's a Harley. It's a converted road glide, it looks like. But anyway, it's huge. There's some of the customers that I've checked that have been really, really close, and how much of a difference they noticed is hard to say, but there's very few of them that are close. Extremely few of them. I've had a total out of, God, it's certainly got to be hundreds by now, of brand new ones right out of the crate. A total of 3 of them were perfect. Now I didn't have to adjust them. with some pretty crazy odds. And some of them, I literally drag like half the shop back there. You gotta see this. Because when the plates are laying, you know what, I end up taking you right through the same thing I do all the time here. I wasn't even thinking of trying something different, but oh well, here we go. But anyway, you set the plate at the end. You set the plates at where they need to be, and I got the lasers where perfect is. It is phenomenal how far these things can be off. If we'd have sold that Spyder like that, that person would have had a horrible experience and may have loved it and not even known just how much better that Spyder should have been riding. But I always test ride one, even though, you know, I've got my procedure down to a point I know for a fact it's right. And there's quite a few, you know, checks and rechecks as I go along. You know, it's, you know, the old saying, measure twice, cut once. Well, I measure about 5 and move once, and then measure a couple more times. I make sure it's perfect. There's nothing quick about how I do it. I'm very, boy, talking about being OCD. I'm very anal about that stuff. Somebody pays me money to do it, and even though, you know, the customers, you know, getting this as a courtesy from us when they buy a new bike or a used Spyder from us, it's still one of our customers going to be riding one of our bikes. And I accept nothing shy of perfect. I know that may be ridiculous or whatever, but I personally would like to think that anybody that ever worked on my stuff would do the same thing. Man, if I was a gear lower, I wonder if this thing would pick the front wheels up. Probably would. But I think the old VSS would realize them wheels came off real quick. Sometimes this thing feels like it's got 15 gears in it. Like, oh, look at all the snow in them foothills. God, I hope you can see Mount St. Helens sitting there. But I know you probably can't. Better yet, I wish you could see it as huge as it looked sitting there. She's so wonderful. Mount Rainier is right off to the side there, but trees have grown and you can't see her very good coming down that little stretch of road. There's one spot, but I was looking at St. Helens. So, I think I'm going to end my little journey right here. I haven't checked my post office in a couple of days, so I think I'm going to swing in there and check that right quick. And I'm going to head home. Maybe I'll take the iron for a little spin. Haven't ridden that thing in a few days. It's probably been a few weeks. When the hell is the last time I rode that iron? Yeah, I think I might do that. Go home and grab me a little lunch snack or something and take the old iron for a little rip. Look at a bald eagle flying over the houses up there. I'm about to loop around on him here. Oh, hold on a second. He might fly right over the top of me here. He's coming this way. It is 25 through here, and you are... Oh, he's flying over the river. Oh, you guys have never seen him. It's too far away. Oh, maybe he'll loop over here. Oh, do you see that? You see him? It's right over the road. Old eagle. Alright. So I'm going to check the postie office here right quick. I'm gonna head home. I'll chat with you. I keep reaching for that And the other thing, the park light flashes on the right on this one. It's left on the RT. So I keep doing that. I'm going, where's the park light? So anyway, I gotta get my keys out of my backpack. I'll have to do it when I get home anyway, but I'll have to do it now. So thanks for hanging around. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. We'll see you now. Bye-bye.